Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. The last few tier list videos I did went down pretty well, even though I was absolutely crucified for forgetting some characters. Which I'm pretty sure I prefaced in the video by saying, yeah, I'm gonna forget people. Wow, some people took that personally. As I say at the start of any of these tier listings, this is just my opinion. This is my list. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with those other videos. You guys seemed to really enjoy them as well. There was a lot of interaction and some people were tagging me on Twitter as well in the same list that they did. That was a list that I did. So it's a good time. So I decided to make one of my own because I was looking for a a weapon list, and I couldn't find one. Well, I could find some, but they'd like not great weapons, or they had like very minimal weapons, so there was like 4 or 5 in the fucking in the group, and I was like, I know there's more weapons than that. So I put together this list of as many weapons as I could think of with the help of my boyfriend, who actually physically put the list together because I didn't want to hook my Twitter account up to the tier website because I'm a little bit of a freak. So shout out to him for kind of lacing it all together. So yeah, if I forgot any weapons, I would say it's not my fault, but this time it actually is because it's my list. I'll try and link it. Actually, do you know what? I'll leave the link to this down below in the Dropbox. And if you guys want to fill out your own list and show me how it differs, then tag me on Twitter. Because I don't think you can tag anywhere else, can you? But yeah, these are the ones I could remember anyway. And the pop-up ads are really getting on my fucking nerves. Before we get started, as always, I'm just reminding you of my Patreon. There's a link down below where I do a whole bunch of other videos. There's a whole load of reactions, live streams, fun shit that goes on over there. Okay, so I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do it... See, it's hard because the weapons that will be in the S tier, do I go by what I think is the coolest or what I think is the most practical? You know what I'm saying? Because what I think is the coolest isn't the most practical. Let's just fucking go. Alright, so we'll start with Aaron and his little mace hand. I'm going to go ahead and put him in A for now. I would put him in S, but I just feel like that kind of weapon takes a lot of dedication, and it's not exactly a weapon you can take with you into the apocalypse unless you already have one. You know what I'm saying? He went through a lot of fucking stress, hassle and pain to get the mace arm. I do think it's cool though, because it's literally an extension of him, and like we saw in one of the more recent episodes, when they were like de-weaponing and they were taking off all their weapons, Aaron's response was, I can't exactly take this off, you know? So it's a smart one, and it looks fucking badass. Would I want one in the apocalypse? I don't think so. Okay, this is one that when I picked it, I knew there'd be people telling me, that's not a weapon, but it fucking is. Alpha's Herd. You think of the Whisper arc, you think of like how they worked, how they operated. Their whole thing were walkers. They used walkers as weapons to bully and harass and to kill people, and they used them to their advantage. So in this instance, I think Alpha's Herd would classify as a weapon. Would I want that as my weapon? Fucking Jesus Christ, no. I still think it's pretty badass though, and it's pretty smart. I'm gonna put it in C. Stabby Mach 2 knives goes to B. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It looks cool. Knives are really practical. That's probably what I would take, to be fair, were I going into an apocalypse. But yeah, I just feel like there's nothing particularly great about it. And if you just slap someone in the right place, you could probably slap that knife right away. That being said, Carol is different. Her knife, I'm going to put her up in S. Her fucking knife with the little, the little brass knuckles kind of built onto the handle, to the hilt of it. That's so cool. She's had it for so long, it's become completely like instantly recognizable. It's one of those iconic weapons we love. Connie's slingshot. Well, technically isn't it Connie and Kelly's slingshot because both of them use it? I'm putting that in S. That's an S tier for me. It's not one that you'd think of, but like, think about it. Okay, look-wise, it's not the coolest. But if you're actually in an apocalypse, it's small, it's light, it's easy to conceal, it's easy to carry, and you have endless ammo. You can use rocks and stones. That's it, really, isn't it? Well, I guess like you could use things like, I don't know, water bottles and mugs and shit, but like you'd have to have a pretty big slingshot. But I just think it's really cool. I'm not entirely sure if this list is what I would bring into an apocalypse or what I would like, or what my favourites are. I think it's a mixture of both. I was going to do 2 separate lists of like the ones that are most practical versus the ones that I love the most. But I think I'll just give like, I'll try and reason it out as I go. This video is by far the messiest I've done yet. I don't even know what I'm on about anymore. Why am I still talking? Alright, Dale's hunting rifle. We're going to put that in like C. I think I put Dale quite low in my character ranking list, just because he wasn't one I was particularly, like, obsessed with, but I didn't hate him by any means. He's just kind of there, and I feel like it's been so long since the beginning of the show that I've just kind of distanced or disassociated from a lot of the older characters I used to love. But yeah, I feel like his gun, it's okay. Everyone should have a gun in an apocalypse. So if an apocalypse were to break out, most of the country of Ireland would be fucked, because you can't just walk into a shop and buy one. But yeah, I don't know, they're loud, rifles and like big guns like Dale's one. It's loud, it's big. If it jams, you're fucked. If you're trying to reload quickly, you're fucked. The only reason I like his gun really is probably because it looks cool, and it's, again, like Carol's knife, it's like iconic to him. Daryl's chain. He only had this for literally one scene, but I think like he should have made it his thing. He should have gone all Ghost Rider and been like, you know what, I'm gonna roll one of these up and keep it in my pocket, because you never know. I'm putting that up in A. And I know there's gonna be people yelling at me like, why is that in A? Because I fucking put it there. Deal with it. That's still to this day one of my favourite Walker kills ever. He just fucking whoosh, and they just died. Wasn't there rumours that Norman was gonna be Ghost Rider? What happened there? Oh, we're going into the Daryl section. Why are they all grouped together? You guys know I'm obsessed with Daryl, so I put a good few Daryl weapons in here. Sorry, I'm not sorry. It's my list. The crossbow goes straight up to S. Realistically, it is a terrible weapon, okay? It takes too long to reload. It's heavy, it's clunky. It's just fidgety. It's not really good for like up close combat. I know. But it's his thing. It's fucking, like, again, you see it and you just know. Even people who don't necessarily watch the show, if you were to show them that and go, whose weapon is this? 9 out of 10 would be able to match it up to him. And I just think that's fucking bitchin'. The rocket launcher, I think, was cool, but again, it kind of like the chain. We only saw it in one episode, really. I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B because if you can find a rocket launcher, I feel like that's something you should probably keep on you or near you. Just in case. In the apocalypse, not in real life. This fucking thing, I can't remember the name of this, right? And that's a dangerous sentence for me to say, because Jesus Christ, I'll be torn apart for not remembering something. The amount of people who are like, you're such a shit fan, you don't remember. I remember. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. You want a pat on the back? This thing though, I remember saying like it was like a potato launcher, and I remember it had me like absolutely in hysterics laughing. I don't know what it is. I'm putting it in D because it made a weird sound. It reminded me of a potato launcher, and I got made fun of for not knowing what it was at the time. And I'm probably going to get made fun of for not knowing what it is now too. Oh, history, how it repeats itself. Elijah's knives I thought were really fucking cool, or the masked man, whatever it is that we call him. They reminded me of things that you climb the side of mountains with, you know, like weird mountain gear. But he took it a level up from just having knives. They're curved knives. It's like 2 little baby Grim Reaper sticks. And I like it. We're putting that in B. I have 2 different knife ones in B. Machete. Well, that shit just has to go to A. Look at him. Look at that badass little bitch. Glenn's pistol. I mean, I think it's pretty basic. Guns in the apocalypse, I think, are basic. Obviously, yes, it's a better weapon. But is it though? Is it though? You need to constantly be finding ammo. Once you shoot it once, you're kind of shagged. Anybody that's near you is going to fucking hear it and come running, walkers included. I don't think I'd go for something like that if it were me. But again, that little gun was kind of iconic to Glenn. Whoop, C. We'll put you in C, babes. Oh, this is so well, like, evenly done so far. And it's the opposite to the last one I did. The last one I did had mostly D levels. Well, so watch me go ahead and fuck up the flow. Governor's gun, I guess I'd put in B simply for icon status. You see that picture, you see that gun, you know exactly what it is. You can nearly feel the emotions of the fucking scene. And it's cool. It's a weird looking gun. It's sharp and kind of asymmetrical. That's some Picasso looking fucking shit. Doesn't look like a regular gun. I like that. I know nothing about weapons. Leah's... Okay, I don't remember the name of this thing, but I remember the actual thing itself. It was like a gigantic fireworks sprinkler wall of fucking death. That was pretty cool. Practical? No. You get like 1 use out of it and then you're done. But if you're under attack and you need an instant kill him in the face weapon, it's pretty solid. I'm going to put it in A because I thought it caught me off guard. I didn't know what the fuck to make of it. Lucille is an S tier weapon for me. I don't care. I know a lot of people out there hate Negan and don't like Lucille, and I'm like, alright, that's cool. But in terms of The Walking Dead, it's an iconic weapon. He's an iconic character. Whether you like him or not, you can't deny he is an iconic character when it comes to the show. And Lucille, it was 50-50 in the beginning. When he entered the show, it was like she was just as famous as he was. You know what I'm saying? The weapon. Yeah, she caused a lot of destruction that I haven't forgiven her for and never will forgive her for. But I just think a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, it's genius, but it's also kind of a recipe for disaster. That would be a weapon I probably would lean towards, because you can keep it on you at all times. It's something that's it's terrifying. Someone comes running at you with a baseball bat by itself. You're like, okay, holy Christ. And then you catch sight of the barbed wire and it's like, oh, we're dealing with a psycho. That's one I would use. And it's also one of my favourites from the show. And also, I never understood. I know he wears like a glove so that he can hold Lucille and not rip his hand to shreds. But when he has it slung over his shoulder, how is he not tearing up the back of his jacket? Maybe he is, and that's why you only ever see him really from the front, because if he turns around, the back of his head is just shredded and bleeding. And his jacket's ripped to fuck. Luke's little gear mace stick thing. I think the concept of it's cool. It's practical. It shows that he's smart and he can be a resourceful little bitch. But where did he go? Where in the love of Christ did he go? I know the actor, Dan Fogler, he was doing like Fantastic Beasts, so I get it. But where did the show even explain where his character went off to? They just stopped showing him one day instead of being like, oh, he's going over here for a while. He's going to go to this other community. Or he's, I don't know, making spray paint sculptures in the garden. That's what Luke does now. You won't see him for a while. No explanation, just disappearance. But it's a pretty fucking cool weapon. I'm going to put it up in B because I hadn't seen anything like it up until this point, and I still haven't. I'm pretty sure it's a motorbike gear that's like strapped onto a little bit of shtick, which is cool. Maggie's bow and arrow I'd probably put up into A because it's better than Daryl's crossbow, even though I'm aware Daryl's crossbow is higher, but we're not talking about that. Hers is just more practical. It's lighter, easier to fucking carry. I don't know though. I never really saw it as a Maggie weapon. I know it's what she's been using for the last like 2 fucking seasons, but like I don't really think it suits her, which I think is the first time I have thought that about a weapon on this list. But it is a much better idea than a crossbow, because a regular bow and arrow, like I said, smaller, lighter, easier to carry, easier to make, what are they called, arrows from. So I would probably choose this before I would choose this. Sorry, Dixon. Merle's hand. This is a second-hand weapon that we have going on. I swear to God, only in The Walking Dead would you have 2 different hand weapons on a fucking list. I'm gonna put that in the same tier as Aaron. I feel like they kind of have to go side by side. If I thought Aaron's mace was cool, then I kind of have to say Merle's sticky hand is cool too. Merle's probably just because we saw it before we saw Aaron's. I remember as well trying to find a replica, because they used to sell a replica of his hand the same way you can buy like the crossbow, which I have here on the shelf, and like Lucille, which I have on the shelf somewhere behind me too. You used to be able to buy Merle's like arm thing, but I haven't been able to find it anywhere and I'm mad to buy it. She just gets instant S tier. That katana goes right up. Again, it's an iconic weapon. You see it and you just know exactly who it belongs to. And it's weird because I think people now more refer to it as like Judith's sword, and I'm like, no, that is Michonne's katana. I think that's one I would like to use too. Should shit ever hit the fan and I'm told you need a weapon, pick one right now, I think a sword is a good way to go. Just saying. I think I'd drop, if I had 2 knives or like 2 like nunchucks or 2 little sticks, if I had 2 of something, I would definitely drop them. My hands do not coordinate. So I like the idea of having one, you know, that you can 2-hand. I am so bad at speaking. Morgan's stick, I would put up an S tier as well, which you now can't see because my big head's in the way. Again, it's so simple. It's just a fucking stick, but my God, that man is a wizard with it. And yeah, Eastman taught him an awful lot. I don't know. I just think it's so cool and it's so simple and so Morgan Jones. You see the stick, you think of Morgan. And he was so bitchy as well when he used it. The way he'd like slap people over the back of the head if he didn't want to fight and they were really trying him. What a character. What a weapon. This, if you guys cannot see, is Negan and his bell. If you've seen season 11, you know the scene that it's from. I just thought it was great. It was comical. It was resourceful. I don't think I'd be reaching for a bell in the apocalypse, and it really is kind of just a one-use thing. Well, no, I guess you could repeatedly bludgeon... Oh, Negan could repeatedly bludgeon multiple people to death with a bell. I'll put it in C. Just because it was funny, it was cool, it was different, made me laugh. But I just feel like if you were to watch somebody use a bell as a weapon for their entire time on the show, by episode 2, you'd be ready to fucking kill them when you hear the ding-ding. Princess and her... That looks like a drum gun or a Tommy gun. I don't think that's what it is. Is it? I'll put that up in B. Again, iconic moment, iconic scene. And that picture, you see the gun, you think of Princess, even though I'm not sure what kind of gun that is. And that's okay. That's the thing about these videos. I could easily pretend to be like, oh, I could just Google the name of it. Or, you know, Google what... I could smack myself into the face with my mic filter too. We could do that. I could just Google shit, but I keep shit real here. Always have, always will. If I don't know something or I don't remember something, 9 times out of 10 will just throw the question out to you guys. Rick and his little machete. Or his hammer. Sorry. I'm going to put that up in A or S tier. Yeah, it's going in the S tier. This is like the exact reverse of my character list. We're going to have more S's than D's, and I feel so bad. Only Daryl is in the D. Daryl's in the D. I think that's probably a weapon I would use. It reminds me of like, it's the kind of hammer that you keep beside the fireplace to like chop up, I don't know what it is that you put into the fire, wood or fucking coal or turf or whatever it is that you're burning. It's the kind of hammer that you'd keep by the fire. But my grandmother has a hammer like that. So, should the apocalypse ever arrive and I want to pull a fucking Rick Grimes, that's probably the weapon I would go for. Yeah, Rick and his Colt. Again, S tier. Actually, I don't know, is that the Colt or is that just a regular pistol? It's supposed to be the Colt. Les, did you put a different picture in there? I can't tell, the picture's so small. You guys know Rick's gun, the Colt. Kind of like with the katana or like with the crossbow, it's iconic. It's just become one with the character. You see it, you think of him, you see him, you think of it. Bitchin', badass, boss ass bitch, we love it. I'm not a big fan of guns though as weapons in shows, especially in shows like this. They're too noisy and too clunky and too easy. You see someone pull out a knife, you know it's going to be a messy fight. You see someone, you know, pull out a fucking shtick, you know it's going to be a messy fight. I'm going to go ahead and put Sasha and her little sniper up in A because I prefer snipers over regular guns. You can get the advantage, you can get the jump on people. They make you feel cool, it makes you feel like you're in Mission Impossible. Imagine running through an apocalypse with a sniper. Now granted, if you take a corner too fast and you have your eye looking down the scope, you're probably going to shit yourself. If you see, you know, objects in the scope are closer than they appear kind of situation. It's cool though, it's cooler than a regular gun. And if the gun breaks or gets fucked, you can easily just detach the little scope and then you got a little telescope. You can go stargazing or become a pirate. Fuck the apocalypse. Shane, okay, this is what I'm going to put down and see. Shane and his gun. Just because. It's a bland gun. I mean, you know, it's cool, I guess. But as far as guns go, it's just a fucking gun. Look at this picture. He's just a guy with a gun. Actually, no, we'll put him in D. I am not afraid to be torn apart in the comments. Now, this is another one that I just knew people are going to be like, that's not a weapon. Shiva was Zeke's pet, right? But you knew you couldn't fuck with Zeke so long as Shiva was around. And Shiva saved the day, rolled in here better than a goddamn fucking army tank and saved Carl before he got his arm cut off. She is a fucking weapon of mass destruction. R.I.P. Shiva. We're putting her in A. I don't even care. I just know that if people do this... Hang on, I'll keep the afterthoughts for the end. You know what? Tyrese and his hammer, that just goes up to S. Yup. That's one of those that even though it was so long ago, like we're going back like 5 or 6 fucking seasons. We're going back to the early days. It still holds up. It's still fucking cool. You still see Tyrese, you know he has a hammer. You know that's one of his main weapons. I just think that's a cooler hammer than Rick's. Because if you need to, I don't know, like open a crate of wine or something, it has the kind of spiky teeth on the back that you could do that. So his hammer is cooler than his hammer. What is my life? But that is how my list looks as is right now. Can I scroll up a little bit so you can see? Okay, so there's S, A, B, C, and D. I just know once people do make this list or in the comments, they're going to be like, oh my god, Shiva and like a Walker Herd aren't weapons. And you know what? You can say that all you want because everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And that's something that a lot of people don't seem to understand. Also, I made the list, so I say they're fucking weapons. I love these fucking videos, lads. These are great. It's just an old time where you can chat and talk the shit. Especially as well, hang on, can I stop with this? I think this is slowing everything down. Especially, this one felt different because I made the list, so I kind of half expected what to be on it. But it was funner getting to talk through things and give my reasoning and my explanation for it. I could have done the other one that had 4 weapons, but I just thought, let's not. Let's make one. I'm going to link it in the Dropbox, or in the description box, sorry, down below. So if you want to do it and let me know how your ranking looks, then tag me in it on Twitter. I'm also probably going to do some polls in the upcoming days to see what other style of this type of video that you guys would like. So if I'm going to do more ranking or tier lists, if I'm going to make more ranking or tier lists, I'm probably going to look for input more than likely on Twitter, because I feel like the poll system over there is just easier to use. I enjoyed that. And I can say that with full confidence because I haven't posted it yet. Once I post it and get ripped apart in the comments, then I'll be like, There probably was some that I forgot. I really did try and include as many as I could, from iconic to kind of smaller, lesser known ones to full on, just like little fun ones to have fun with, like with Shiva or the Walker Herd. Because not everything has to be so serious all the time. But yeah, that was my ranking list for weapons. As I said at the start of the video, the link to my Patreon is down below, where I do a whole bunch of different reactions. There's older stuff like Buffy, the original, Star Trek, X-Files, mixed in with newer shows, like I'm doing Moon Knight, I'm starting Bridgerton in upcoming weeks. I'm also doing movies and live streams. I think I'm going live tomorrow as I'm recording this. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I so nearly made it through a whole video without fucking up. Did I fuck up before this?